one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing, please. Heavenly Father, we just come before you. We just thank you for this evening. Thank you for the opportunity to serve, Lord. And we just ask that you continue guiding us and watching over us and watching over our city. And we just thank you for all the blessings you have given us in Jesus' name.
Amen. All right, very good. Excuse me. We're going to move into the approval of agenda. City Manager, any changes or adjustments, sir?
No changes, no adjustments.
Okay, any needing a motion and a second to carry for approval of agenda, please?
Make the motion. Second.
All right, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem, second by Councilmember Espinoza. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Given.
Yes, thank you very much. Tonight we have two presentations we're going to be walking through. Our first one up will be the National Pesticide Safety Education Month. And ladies, I'm going to have you guys come up to the front. Oh, please. I may or may not be there. This is the National Pesticide Safety Education Month, February 2026, and bear with us, we are going to go through this with translation as well. So I'll try to go paragraph. Okay. Whereas pesticides continue to be widely used in agriculture and communities across the United States, yet their misuse or overuse possesses serious risks to farm workers, families, and the environment.
Considerando que los pesticidas siguen siendo usados ampliamente en la agricultura y en comunidades, sobre todo los Estados Unidos, también el mal uso y el sobreuso puede ser serio a unos riesgos a las familias de trabajadores agrícolas y también al medio ambiente.
A farm worker organization has long championed the health and safety of campesinos and their families, advocating for stronger protection, equitable land access, and healthier farming practices.
También considerando que los líderes campesinas del Comité del Norte de Kern, los trabajadores de la organización han cumplido con la salud y la seguridad de las campesinas y de sus familias, hablando por ellos y por un lugar más seguro para la protección de las tierras, el acceso que tienen y la salud a las prácticas agriculturales.
National Pesticide Awareness Fund provides an opportunity to educate the public about pesticide dangers, highlight safer alternatives, and promote integrated pest management strategies that reduce harm.
El Mes Nacional del Conocimiento sobre las Pesticidas brindan una oportunidad hacia educar al público sobre los peligros de los pesticidas, destacar alternativas más seguras y prometer estrategias integradas de manejo a plagas que reduzcan los daños y considerando también a los agrícolas.
2026 are expected to include policy initiatives, educational outreach, and digital campaigns on platforms such as Instagram, continuing the momentum of past awareness tables and community events.
Los esfuerzos están inspirados sobre lo que se espera para el 2026 incluyan iniciativas políticas, divulgación en las plataformas educativas y en campañas digitales en las plataformas como Instagram. Continuamos el impulso de las mesas de concientización y eventos comunitarios anteriores que se presentan en el presente.
These efforts are inspired by historical leaders such as Cesar Chavez, who drew national attention to pesticide impacts on farm worker health, reminding us that justice and agriculture require vigilance and courage.
Y estos esfuerzos que se inspiran por los líderes históricos como César Chávez, que a la nación trajo la atención de los pesticidas y el impacto que esos tienen en las familias agricultoras y la salud, recordándonos que también la justicia en la agricultura requiere la vigilancia y el coraje de los presentes.
SBA programs and land equity initiatives will strengthen the call for systematic change, ensuring that farm workers' voices remain central in shaping healthier agriculture.
Con los programas del USDA y la iniciativa de equidad de tierras y fortalecer el llamado y el cambio sistemático, asegurando que las voces de los trabajadores agrícolas sigan siendo escuchadas y en la configuración de futuros agrícolas más saludables.
This as the, National Pesticide Awareness Month. Put one though.
One, two, three. Can we get
I
the
thought-
link?
Oh, yeah, not this one. That's all. Yeah, wait.
One more.
Oh.
Pero I'm sure, porque I no vine prepared, pero I'm here. That's all right. That's all right. Sí. So you. All right. It's more like that. One more, one, two, three. Ahora sí, mole. I got one too, you know, I'm telling Claro, Dr. Chair, for Assembly Woman After Brain, the representative here, and I could testify for the hard work that you guys do promoting, educating, and sharing the resources to the residents that we serve in our District 35, McFarland Chapter, Huasco Veneno. So le quiero dar las gracias de parte de la asambleísta, la doctora Rey, por su sacrificio, trabajo y educación a la comunidad de los residentes de nuestro Distrito 35, que es esencial. Y le seguimos dando la pauta para que sigan enseñando y educando a nuestros residentes, que Dios las bendiga y felicidades. ¿Okay?
Thank you, ladies.
My other favorite meeting. Después que lo vi, ¿okay?
Only favorite city, right?
We get a translator?
There's another city you're headed to, Ms. Clarabelle? Okay,
Another favorite city, she said.
but not the favorite. Bye, ladies. One other presentation we have tonight is the reflection for the 2025 end of the year highlights. And Right.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. So this year marks our 6th year that we've taken time to reflect on the journey and showcase the progress, milestones, and moments that define our community. Each year, the video continues to grow and evolve, capturing and expanding the scope of work across the organization. Tonight, we're pleased to share with you the city's 2025 highlight video, and I just want to note that Nevaeh did an amazing job putting it together. I do want to note that while all city departments made meaningful contributions this past year, the police department is going to truly stand out to you as they provided exceptional and all-around involvement and presence within our community. So you'll see that in the video.
Cool.
We hope you enjoy.
thank you.
Hold on to me as we go. As we roll down some familiar road. And although this way, stringing us along. Just know you're not. Cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they feel you with fear. Trouble it might drag you down. You get up, you get always found. No, you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down. Don't pay no mind to the demons. The trouble if you just know you're not. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Don't pay no mind to the demons. They tell you it's there. The trouble might drag you down. If you get up, you can always be found. It's how we are now. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Ve-
You guys have any comments or questions?
very well done, I may say. Might be a little loud, Yasmina.
Good job. I like the song.
Very well done, very well
Well
done.
done.
Thank you, ladies.
Yep. It's good.
So you had me bouncing.
Thank you guys very much. All right, we are going to move on for the evening. This evening, we're moving into public comment. Public comments for any person wishing to speak on any item included on the agenda or on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. Speakers are invited to speak from the podium and address the city council. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes unless additional time is needed for translation. Please state your name and address for the record before making your presentation. At this time, public comment is open. You got up. I thought you were moving. Hearing none and seeing none, public comment time is closed. Council announcements and reports. Councilman Espinoza, I'll start with you this evening.
On the, on the fifth, I attended the oath of office for, no, that's the wrong week, I'm sorry. On the 19th, I attended the oath of office for police officer Joanna Lopez. I'd like to welcome her to the police force. On the 26th, I wasn't able to make it to the transit driver oath of office for Maria Moreno, but I'd also like to welcome her aboard to the Shafter family. I was able to attend the state of the county address. And then after that, we attended the chairman's Kern EDC dinner. On Thursday, the 29th, I was able to meet with Congressman David Valadao. He came into Shafter and he was able to meet with us and answer a couple of questions. And then he also took a tour of some of the Gossamer Grove Industrial Park and answered a couple of questions that we had for him. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Alvarado.
We don't have anything to report. Just announcement that March 20th, we're having our national prayer dinner at the Veterans Hall. So that's it. Thank you.
You got me mid-sip on that one. Thank you. Councilmember Proud.
Yes, I attended the oath of office for the different employees too, from police department and transit. Also, I might comment, the current EDC's annual state of the county, as well as their recognition for the chairman's dinner, was well attended, and Shafter had almost a full table. And you were at that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so was, yeah, all but you.
Not on a Wednesday night, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So, but it was a nice way to get to meet a lot of the other business people from the county as well as from out of the area. We represented ourselves very well, so that was fun too. And in the state of the county, you probably saw a report that came out in the news after, and what Chairman spoke about, Philip Peters, is the fact that Kern is open for business and mentioned some of the projects that are already there, but you know, there's a timing now that should really pick up for this area. So something to watch for the next year. And then also I attended a meeting with the collaborative. We've had a task force, as you probably remember, from just the city that we had organized for so many years, but we've joined and combined with a task force now that's run with Adam Elvidis with the superintendents, or I'm sorry, the Gretchen School District. And they had 60 people in attendance, and there are different organizations that come in and they share something about their own groups, but the two main speakers were representing Cal State Bakersfield as well as United Way. And it gives you an opportunity to see all the services that they offer. And it shows really that they're beginning to really notice Shafter and to supply a lot of support and involvement for our families and people that are here in Shafter. Well attended, and They do serve lunch now and it's catered, but it's also, CRC sponsored that one. The next one coming up is February the 18th, and it's with, Anthem Blue Cross. So, you know, I mean, those are good sponsors, but it also shows the involvement in what they're seeing for Shafter. So it was nice to be there. But that's, and we met with Valadeo's office. He told us an update on legislation as well as learned a lot about what Shafter has been doing. If you notice in the video, it showed main projects, but we could certainly add the excitement that we felt that we could share with our elected people and serve in Congress. So it was good.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I also attended the Kern County Chairman's Dinner and Recognition, which is some good presentations on things that were happening around the county. Also took a tour of the new Shafter Rec area and facility with the director and their one member of their board. So kind of got an update on how that project is going. It's pretty impressive, very large project that they're trying to get done over there. And then the last thing is we have the Lions has a food distribution on February 14th, Valentine's Day. It's Saturday. Morning starts at 7 a.m. If anybody wants to come out and volunteer, we could really use the help. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nothing more really to add. The Bakersfield Prayer Breakfast was this morning. It was a pretty nice event. That's, I believe, the 48th annual, if I have my bearings right. So it was good to be part of that this morning. And then, you know, more conversation happening with high-speed rail. If you guys haven't noticed that today, unfortunately, I feel like saying this at this point. Unfortunately, the governor continues to profess the lies of what's happening with high-speed rail. And it's unfortunate because they, instead of choosing to work with the city and at least talking to the residents of the city, the businesses of the city, he would rather just circumvent the city altogether and continue their, my opinion, destruction of the city through what they're trying to do. So it was an unfortunate press conference that they held today. They decided to invite everybody out except for the city of Shafter, which if you're going to hold something in the city of Shafter, you would imagine there would be conversation, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to like what we're going to have to say about it. So we continue to ask our residents to speak your voices. We don't take offense by you speaking up and saying what you're saying. We think it's necessary. And we may be small to some, but I believe we're mighty to the economy and to the many who are here. So we will continue to speak and do what we can do with that. Just again, unfortunate to listen to the rhetoric that is being passed across from our state at the highest level possible. So that was unfortunate today. With that said, we'll move into our council consent calendar. This evening, there are 10 items on the docket for consent calendar. Item number 1 is to approve general checks. Number 2, approving payroll. Number 3, approval of minutes. Number 4, introducing for second reading and waive reading adopting ordinance number 775. Number 5, waive reading and adopt ordinance number 776, approving zone change number 2579. Number 6, approve a local funding match equal to 20% of the total estimated cost for the proposed water tank and booster station project at the wonderful industrial park. Authorize the Public Works Director to submit a local funding match commitment letter to the U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration. Number 7, adopt resolution number 3058. Number 8, adopt resolution number 3059. Number 9, adopt resolution number 3060. And lastly, number 10, authorize submittal of a letter signed by myself on behalf of the city of Shafter opposing the League of California Cities proposal to reallocate Bradley Burns e-commerce sales tax. And with that said, look for questions, comments, concerns. Otherwise, in a motion in a second to carry, please.
I'd like to make a motion to note a no vote for item number 4.
Approving the remainder, sir? Motion to approve the remainder with a no vote. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Correct.
Okay.
I'll second the consent calendar and voting yes on the consent calendar, but a no on item 4, which is the ordinance 77 having to do with the administrative hearing officer procedure.
Okay. Gentlemen, would you feel more comfortable removing that and moving it to manager report to have deeper conversation with it?
Is there any need for that?
No.
Okay.
I just want to make sure. I listen.
Yeah, it's just.
I like transparency, so I just want to make sure we guys are okay.
This is deep take, I understand
Are you on?
Since the members voted no at the original first reading of the ordinance for consistency's sake, they are indicating that the record should reflect their no vote for the second reading. Unless there's more to discuss, you don't have to pull it.
Absolutely. I just want to make sure, I didn't want to walk away from that if there wasn't anything more to discuss and do. Okay. At this point, I have a motion in a second carried by Olvera and Alvarado with a yes to consent calendars for all items, with the exception of item number 4, voting no on those 2 items. Do I have, well, let me ask you this question. Do I have a roll call based on that? Okay. Unless anyone has anything otherwise, it's just the 2 no's.
Yeah, my understanding is that the members would like their votes reflected as no's only on item 4. The rest of the members, if they vote yes, would be voting yes on the entirety of their consent calendar.
Thank you for the clarification. We have a motion and a second by Olvera and Alvarado. I need a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado? Prout?
Yes.
Olvera?
Yes.
Espinoza?
Okay, I just want to be clear, what's the yes for?
You are voting yes on the entirety of the consent calendar.
And then with 4 being moved to.
Nope, 4 is not being moved.
No,
I just have 2 no's for 4 from Alvarado and Olvera.
Yeah. They want their votes reflected as no's on item number 4, but only those 2 members.
Okay, yes.
And Given?
Yes. I apologize. Everything just died on me right now. Bear with me. All right. Thank you guys very much for that. We will move into our public hearing. Tonight, we have 1 item on the docket for a public hearing. That is to introduce ordinance number 777 to adopt zone code amendment number 25-23. Alan? Good afternoon, sir.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. I'll try to be brief. So if the report before you and the presentation looks somewhat familiar, it's because we've gone through this ordinance before. You may recall, you go to the next slide, please. At the December 16th City Council meeting, I had shared with Council how there were recent state law changes to ADU provisions throughout the state of California, and we needed to update our zone code in order to be in compliance with the recent changes to state law. And so those 4 laws are summarized here: AB 462, AB 1154, SB 9, and SB 543. Next slide, please. So at that point in time, the council did adopt a urgency ordinance number 774 to comply with the state January 1st deadline. And staff did indicate that we would come back with a formal zone code amendment process in order to adopt the ordinance changes in compliance with all of the regulatory requirements. And so that is what staff is now proposing, that we formalize that process through the zone code amendment. So next slide. So staff is now proposing that we open a public hearing and introduce for first reading by title only and waive reading of ordinance number 777, approving zone code amendment 25-23 to amend the Shafter Municipal Code Title 17, Section 11.200 pertaining to ADUs and JADUs. And so the ordinance is exactly the same in form and substance that I had presented back on December 16th. Yeah.
Thank you very much. This is a public hearing for the introduction of ordinance number 777 to adopt zone code amendment number 2523. At this time, public hearing is open. All right, public comments, seeing none and hearing none. Public comment time is closed. Council questions, comments, or concerns? If hearing none and seeing none, otherwise I need a motion in a second to adopt ordinance number 777, because I know what you're going to tell me, to adopt zone code amendment number 25-23, in amendment to Title 17 on the zoning ordinance section 11.200 of the Shafter Municipal Code relating to accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units. I need a motion in a second, please.
I move that.
A second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Prout, second by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado?
Yes.
Prout?
Yes.
Olvera?
Yes.
Espinoza?
Yes.
And Givens?
Yes, thank you very much. We have 4 items on our management report agenda for this evening. Number 1 is the annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year of 2024-2025. Hello, Mr. Sanchez.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. So on the last council meeting, I presented the financial results for fiscal year 24-25. So this is a follow-up. We have formally closed the books. Audits have been completed. And this is a report provided by independent auditor. And he's going to be presenting some brief information. He'll connect here in a minute. But I'd like to introduce him. His name is Andrew Roth, and he's a partner at the Pun Group. They have helped us in the past in the city of Shafter, but we're required to switch auditors every 3 years per city code. But they have done tremendous work. We are a couple of months earlier compared to last year. So we closed the books much faster. To a large thanks to them for their effort. They put a lot of hours, a lot of effort. So I'm grateful for their contributions. And they're independent. They are very familiar with the transactions, the records, the finances of the city. So with that, I'd like to pass the time to Andrew.
Good evening, Mayor and fellow City Council members. I'm here tonight to present the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2025 financial statements. Right, we're going to go through kind of the scope of work. We worked on some required communications based on the audit standards, AUC 260, also previously SAS 114. Overview of financials, some key financial indicators, the audit results. So go through the scope of work. So this year we did perform the annual comprehensive financial, the ACFR audit. We also performed the TDA audit. This year, the city was not required to have a single audit, which is because they had under the threshold of funds, of federal funds. And then we also did an agreed upon procedure for the GAN limit. So required communication. So one, we need to communicate some significant accounting policies. The best place to look at this is in note 1. If you want to go to explanation of kind of the reporting any of the city and how it all comes together, you're going to want to look at that note 1. You'll note in note 1 that the city did implement GASB 101, the compensated absences standard, and so there was a prior period adjustment for that. So some significant estimates, the fair value that are required for the preparation of these financial statements. So that'd be the fair value of investments, the depreciation on capital assets, that'd be the useful life, how long you think the capital assets will be good for, and then pension and OPEB liabilities. Pension and OPEB liabilities, a lot of these estimates are kind of factored and determined by either the actuary or CalPERS, so you don't have as much say on those. One new estimate is also the compensated absences estimate. That is a new one for this year. It's not listed though. So a couple things we wanted to note, just some required disclosures, some sensitive disclosures, summary of significant accounting policies, the lease receivable note, your pension and OPEB notes, your other required disclosure notes, and the commitment to contingency notes. Those are pretty sensible ones you want to take a look at. They're pretty important. We'll also there was no corrected or uncorrected misstatements for the current year. We didn't have a prior period adjustment on a revenue. You will note that there was a significant deficiency related to some TDA revenue that was booked, and you can see that in the financial statements. You'll note that management informed us that, and to our knowledge, there was no consultations with other accountants regarding auditing and other matters. There's no significant difficulties in dealing with management. Also, we didn't have any disagreements with management in terms of accounting, treatment, or audit procedures. To go over an overview of the financial statements. So just looking at the overall government-wide net position, so the overall total net position of the city increased to $281 million, up from $250 in the prior year. That'd be assets, everything from your cash to your capital assets. The deferred outflow of resources decreased slightly to $5.7 million. It's going to include some pension-related items, pension and OPEB-related items that are used to smooth out any changes or in experience or assumptions or different areas of pension. The liabilities did increase $28 million in the current year. And then the deferred inflows of resources did decrease to 6.5. So you'll note that in net investment in capital assets saw an increase of about $6 million. So your net investment in capital assets is going to be your capital assets net of any related debt and depreciation. So that you'll note that there's more investments going into the capital assets. Then restricted capital assets, you're going to note that there was an increase in the restricted capital assets to about $36.7 million in the current year. Then so overall unrestricted net position was about $106 million in the current year from $98 in the prior year. an increase from year to year. So you'll note at the government-wide level, the change in that position, that expenses did increase overall about $4 million to $48 million. You'll note, so you're gonna see program revenues here. So program revenues is really revenues that are specifically related to expenses. So we'll have program revenues and program expenses, unlike say taxes, which doesn't have like, it's like when you have a charge for service, you have to provide that service. So there's a related expense to the program revenues. So you'll note that those program revenues and in program revenues, you are able to go out and get grants. So the program revenues overall for the city did increase to 30.4.9 million in the current year from 26 in the prior year. So overall net cost of service, that's going to be your expenses, all expenses in the program revenues. The cost did decrease from a cost of 17.9 to the 13.9. And then you get to put in your general revenues. That's going to be your taxes, your vet, any kind of shared revenue or the investment income. You'll note that taxes did decrease slightly to 27 million, but the general revenue, other income did increase to about 7.6. So you'll note you're changing that position from year to year was an increase this year, but it increased even 5 more million than prior year increase to ending 20.7 million in the current year of increase in that position. So general fund, we're going to go over the fund balance, that is kind of the balance sheet, but then you'll go over the, so when you look at the government-wide on the government activity side, at least, you're going to note that there's a lot of items related to pension that aren't exactly budgeted areas. You're going to pay your country contributions but it can fluctuate. So, but in the general fund, it's going to be your main fund of the city. This is going to be where you kind of budget. And so this should be like dollar for dollar, typically looking in the budget and as opposed to the government activities, which has a lot of assumptions in it and different pieces that aren't actually like dollars being spent or received. So your general fund did increase to 106 million in the current year of assets, and the liabilities also increased to about $18 million in the current year from about 9 in the prior year. And the deferred inflows resources did decrease slightly to about 803,000. So the fund balance, which starts with your non-total fund balance, that's going to be any kind of prepaids or inventory, decreased slightly to that 745,000. The assignments of the general fund was about 50.6 million. These are assignments that are made by the authority that's typically approved by the city council. Typically, this is city manager. So that assignment's kind of assigning funds away for later use. So you'll note that your unassigned fund balance did increase to 36 million from 30 million in the prior year. So overall, total fund balance did decrease about 9.8 million for the general fund. So going through the revenues, you're going to note that in the general fund, the revenues did increase slightly to 38 million from 37, so about $1 million. Expenditures also increased, but they increased to about 2.9 million to $30 million. So you'll note that overall the revenues did increase about 7.8 million. And then if you add in the transfers and the proceeds from the sales of property, you'll note that the change was 9.8 million. So you'll note the key financial indicators. So one thing you do want to note is when you look at that unassigned fund balance to your annual expenditures, it's kind of like your rainy day fund. So typically GFOA says that your unassigned fund balance should be about at least 3 months, so about 25%, but you guys are closer to over 100%. So that would be about a year worth. So your rainy day fund is pretty strong. So that's good news. So you get into the audit results. So the audit results was an unmodified opinion on all opinion units. So this is a clean opinion. That's what you're looking for. That means the financial statements are fairly presented on material specs. Accounting policies have been consistently applied. Estimates are reasonable and disclosures are properly reflected in financial statements. Also noting again that there were no disagreements with management. We also did not identify any material weaknesses in internal control of financial reporting, but in our management letter, we did identify 2 significant efficiencies that the city is working on with revenue recognition as well as bank reconciliation. We also noted there was no accounting issues. Also, no inappropriate activities were noted in our audit. That is my presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roth. So I'll be happy if you would like to have an introduction to the book. We can have a meeting dedicated for that, but that's a lot of pages if you're interested. That's all I have if you have any questions.
Thank you very much, sir. This has come a long ways since, what, 5 years ago? That was rough. That was rough. Very good. Roger, I gotta say, you've done a great job. I know, with the Pund Group, we appreciate them from an auditor's perspective, but to you and your team, I just want to say, you guys have done a fantastic job. There's a reason you guys got the award last year. And, you and your spreadsheets and all of your craziness does pay off, and we want to say thank you. Thank you for putting the work in.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank you and your department also. You guys have done a lot of work in a short time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. With that, this is not for review only purposes. I need a motion in a second to file said report, the single audit and the SAS 114 letter, please.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All right, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera, second by Councilmember Espinoza. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Givens.
Yes. Item number 2 is the First Amendment of the City Manager Employment Agreement approval. Hello, Ms. Carroll.
Hello, good evening, Mayor and members of the Shafter City Council. The item before you is the First Amendment to the City Manager Employment Agreement. Following the City Council's most recent City Manager Performance Evaluation, the council directed staff to bring forward an amendment to the City Manager's Employment Agreement to update salary provisions. The amendment sets the City Manager's annual base salary at $235,000. And that's to address salary compaction with executive level staff as well as merit-based salary adjustment. All other terms of the agreement remain unchanged. The total fiscal impact is approximately $30,185 annually, inclusive of benefits, and can be absorbed within the current fiscal year's budget. Therefore, no budget amendment is required at this time. Staff recommends approval of the First Amendment to the City Manager Employment Agreement, and I'm available with any questions.
Thank you very much. Questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none, seeing none, I need a motion and a second to carry, please.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Prout, second by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Givens.
Yes. Item number 3 is the Sales Tax Initiative Public Outreach and Engagement Professional Services Agreement. Hello, Mr. James.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council, Michael James with the City Manager's Office. As I'm sure you know, on January 20th, a special council meeting was held to conduct a workshop to start a high-level conceptual discussion regarding increasing service demands within the city, fiscal challenges on the horizon, as well as revenue strategies to meet those demands and challenges. So based on the outcome of that workshop discussion, staff recommends tonight that we move forward with a coordinated public outreach and community engagement initiative. So included with your staff report is a proposal covering work by 2 vendors specializing in this field. One of those vendors is Pulco. Their role would be to develop primarily develop and support a digital engagement platform that'll focus on collecting statistical and meaningful resident input centered on service priorities, spending preferences, and the public's willingness to support different types of funding strategies. The other vendor is CiviSocial, and their role would be to provide a communication strategy as well as on-site training for staff. So we're in a position to explain city services, costs, and scenarios that are easy to follow and understand. So this effort will enhance communications, but it won't advocate for solutions. Basically, we're going to let staff provide the facts and that let the council and the community have the final say on how to proceed. So if the consulting work is approved tonight, the process will start fairly soon, and likely the first phase will last through March, allowing us to come back in April to share the findings of the first phase of this outreach, and then hopefully settle on a path forward. Once we have that path forward, the second phase of the engagement will commence. We'll focus on educating the public on the preferred funding solution. So the total cost of this consulting work is capped at $30,000, and it's fully funded. It can be fully funded with existing operational budgets without the need for a council budget action tonight. So with that, We ask that you approve the proposal and authorize staff and the vendor to commence the requested public outreach and community engagement. With that, the city manager and I can respond to questions.
Thank you, sir. Council, questions, comments, or concerns on said item?
It was just $10,000, right? Not to exceed 10,000?
There's two vendors, one valued at, with a proposal of 10,000, the other valued at 20,000. So combined, it's a $30,000 package proposal.
Okay. I thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I'll say this, you know my stance and how I feel about this, but unfortunately, with the information that we're being provided, and this isn't a financial issue here, but it's just knowing what's coming between high-speed rail and the county of Kern, who may be trying to enforce this, and we'd rather to see our sales tax here instead of there. So, yeah, it is what it is at this point, and I understand where we're headed to. So thank you. If nothing else to be said, I need a motion and a second to carry, please.
I move report.
Second on this?
No second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Councilmember Prout, second by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Gibbon.
Yes, thank you very much. Oh, you're staying back. All right, coming back. Here we go. The sequel. Number 4 is the approval of remodel of former modified community correctional facility in the administrative office for use by the Information Technology Department. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the Stafford City Council. The city issued, a few weeks ago, the city issued a request for proposals to ultimately have a consultant evaluate the feasibility of repurposing the Modified Community Correctional Facility, or MCCF, as a modern municipal facility. And the focus of this RFP is the feasibility of relocating both the police and IT departments to the MCCF. So as you may know, IT staff are currently working out of the Public Works Corporation Yard Engineering Office. And that strategy has served the purpose of allowing the IT staff departments to grow with new staff and resources. But that strategy is starting to limit the ability for the engineering division to grow. So we're here tonight to recommend a limited temporary remodel of the MCCF administrative office to safely and functionally accommodate IT staff and possibly other departments if it allows. So the proposed improvements that we have in mind are intentionally modest. They include HVAC and roofing repairs, interior finishes, lighting updates, and then new office furniture. So this temporary work should not impact the long-term plan to completely repurpose the MCCF. Realistically, just to break ground on that project, it's going to take a couple of years. So the recommendation before you tonight is to approve a $200,000 budget for for a project in the capital improvement program, and authorizing the city manager's office to conduct informal bidding for the various phases of the work and award those purchases and construction contracts consistent with the city's bidding and procurement policy. So likely some of those items we're going to come back to you for a recommendation for an award. So the current estimate for this work is just under 160,000, but we're requesting the 200,000 for contingencies to account for unforeseen conditions or minor scope adjustments. So upon approval, staff will proceed with the informal bidding, and then we'll complete the work in phases, and hopefully be in a position to have the IT department at least in this office space by this summer. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Very nice, sir. Council, questions, comments, or concerns on said item?
Just for clarification, the goal is to move PD to MCAC.
Yeah, the ultimate goal is to bring back to council at least a feasibility on the ability to repurpose that building into utilization by PD and IT both. This temporary measure, and part of this is we've been kind of in the last 3 years ago, we added 15 staff. 2 years ago, we added 15 more staff. This year, we've added about 8 staff. We've grown significantly to keep up with our population, but we're not expanding our office space. So the temporary is to respond very quickly and to keep us out of buying trailers, which is where we've been sticking staff. Hopefully for a little bit better value to the residents.
And then they're both going to share eventually The MCCF?
That's the plan. That's the
Okay.
plan. And then that should give us enough buffer office space with the current PD station that we should be able to encompass at least some of our, at least the next 5 to 10 years of growth.
That will remain as PD.
No, that'll turn into administrative offices.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's all.
If I may add, the RFP that's out right now, the first phase of that work will be determining what our options are and coming up with construction cost estimate for construction. And we'll bring those before you to help you and decide if that's really worth the investment. Because we're not committing to design and construction. We're with the RFP, we're going to commit to the conceptual design and construction cost estimates. And if we like what we see, then we can exercise an option to move forward with construction.
Any other questions? Good questions. Good question. Okay, I need a motion and a second for approval, please.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Okay, I have a motion. I have my computer messing up. Have a motion by Councilmember Alvarado, second by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Given.
Yes. All right. With that said, that is the remainder of our management reports for this evening. Now, my favorite time of the night, city manager comments and reports.
No comments, no reports.
And director department comments and reports.
No comments, no reports.
Very good, sir. Much appreciated. With that said, I'm going to look for a motion and a second to adjourn us tonight.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera, second by Councilmember Espinoza. All those in favor with aye.
Aye.
Same